this ordinance going to be, as far as the boundaries, going to be voted on tonight? Is this what is going to happen?
It's on the agenda. It would be in order for a member of council to move the approval and have a vote on it. It's also possible that the matter could be tabled.
Okay, that's, well, for right now, that's my question.
Until Beechwood also passes the other side.
The impact of the ordinance doesn't exist. You need two parts of the key.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. I just wanted to make sure, because I know that's what is being said here. We're talking about the boundaries as of right now, but I know my time is up, but I just wanted to let you know I'm not a part of Orange Village, and a part of Pepper Pike, and as you guys do know, you do know this family, but I'm in standing of this family for what they represent, what they've done for the community and done for so many people who are in need, including so many people that I know. So I just wanted to make sure for tonight that there may be a vote, and may not be a vote tonight to actually, as far as the boundaries are concerned.
Early tomorrow morning.
Oh, what was that?
Early tomorrow morning. I'm not sure how many more speakers we're going to have.
Okay.
It's a poor attempt at humor. Is there any other comments?
Good evening. I'm Michael Sclares. I actually live in Concord. When you put that slideshow up, I think I saw a couple of my cars in there. The Moonies, the Moonies, they're an incredible family. My car broke down, I think it was last year, on 271. Took my sister like 5 in the morning, single digits. Moonies was there. Car broke down in Concord. There was a huge snowstorm. Drove all the way out there, beat the traffic, picked me up. I work for an HVAC company in one of the surrounding communities. We have over 40 trucks on the road, and we depend on the Moonies when our cars break down. Whether it's the middle of the night and an Orange or Beechwood resident, they need heat, or they have a leak and their hot water tank went. We need to get there. And if one of our cars break down, we depend on Moonies to help us out. So I really, really hope that you guys shoot this down to help preserve this family.
Your comments?
Makes it happen.
My name is Clayton Pomphus. I stay at 24540 Bryden Road, Beechwood, so I don't know if I have the right to comment here, so if you'll allow me, I have one question. When you were showing the boundary, the old boundary and the new boundary, I found it quite interesting that Mooney's property seemed to have been specifically excised from Beechwood side to be included in Orange side, and I was wondering why that would be the case, because it seems as though the rest of the properties had been included in Beechwood, whereas Mooney's was the only one.
No, 75% of the Mooney's property is in Orange.
I understand that, but it seems almost counterintuitive. If you follow the boundary line that was presented earlier, that's been moved to the sidewalk for the rest of the properties. Mooney's there was the southern side of Mooney's was there was a boundary running on the southern side of Mooney's, and then it goes down the sidewalk, and the rest of the properties go to Beechwood.
The difference between that is the village already has the right-of-way on the Mooney's property. That is the right-of-way portion of the boundary. The proposed boundary line moves south of the Mooney property to the right-of-way line. The right-of-way line is not going to be moved, but it's a logical change so that the building that is in Orange Village stays in Orange Village, and the buildings that are in Beechwood stay in Beechwood, and the rest of the properties that go with those buildings are in the community where the building is.
So my understanding is correct then that Mooney's on that sort of that portion of on that side of the road, Mooney's is the only property that's being excised into Orange, and the rest are going to Beechwood?
There is a portion of the Mooney property that if Orange and Beechwood both pass ordinances, would move from Beechwood into Orange Village.
Right, and the rest?
To the south, where the buildings are already in Beechwood, the property that is in Orange would be moved into, would become part of Beechwood.
Right, so the portion of those properties that are in Orange are being relinquished to Beechwood, whereas with Mooney's it doesn't seem to be the case, it's the other way around. I understand that you're saying 75%.
The building is.
Yeah.
Where the building is.
All right, that was just my query, because it seems as though it was relatively illogical, but...
The building is.
All right. Well, thank you. That answers my question.
Any other comments? If you'd be somewhat brief for us, please. Not repetitive.
I'll try to kumbaya this. I can't express enough my thanks for the people coming out here tonight. It really means a lot. But I think our overall goal here is to work with you guys. And I think being the third generation in the family business, we can do that. We have a plan right now in place to take care of this professionally, like professionals. We have a plan in place between both cities, between both building departments. It's right here. I'm committed to doing it. We're all committed to doing it. My goal has always been to somehow, some way break down the barriers in which divide us and work through the different municipal boundary difficulties professionally, rather than legislatively here tonight. In the first two readings of this ordinance, I'm hoping that council will ultimately hear my repetitive pleas and take action to stop this ordinance from passing tonight. Stopping this ordinance tonight would be a clear sign for me, the third generation in the family business, the new generation in this family business. It would be a clear sign to me of goodwill. Goodwill on this council. Goodwill not only towards myself, but the goodwill towards my brothers and the rest of my family who represent the newest generation of our family business. Stopping this ordinance tonight would also really bring to heart the true meaning of Orange Village slogan, a community for all generations. And that's exactly what we are. We're a third-generation family business full of hardworking, honest men and women that would give the shirts off their backs every day of the week, twice on Sunday, for a stranger they met 2 minutes ago. We do what we say, and we say what we do. It's just that simple. And, I just highly recommend the council to vote no on this ordinance tonight. Vote no and hold me personally accountable to my word that we're going to make this happen. And rather than casting us out, welcome us. Welcome us into the circle and let us show you what we're made of. Let us prove to you why we are the longest standing brick and mortar business in Orange Village.
Thank you for your comments. All right, no more comments, I assume. If that's the case, then we're going to close the public hearing.
Good job.
And I will now call the council meeting to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you call roll, please.
Klein.
Here.
Bilski. Yes. Luder.
Yes.
Harry. Barron. Braverman. Duber.
Here. Can I have a motion to excuse Ron Barron from the meeting tonight?
So moved.
Motion made.
Thank you, Ms. Kluger. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Klein. And if you'd call roll, please.
Klein. Yes. Bilski.
Yes.
Luder.
Yes.
Harry. Braverman. Duber.
Could I have a motion to approve the special council meeting minutes, January 2nd, 2019? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments? All right, if you'd call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Luder.
Yes.
Harry. Braverman. Duber.
Yes. And can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report of fiscal year 2018 through November? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Kluter. Ms. Cavender, if you could please.
Number.
First thing we'll have is the treasurer's report, which is through November. The treasurer's report through November 30th, sorry, the mic is kind of, is showing the total cash balance of $9,880,000 through November 30th. You also have a summary of the monthly and yearly year-to-date activity for November. Revenues for all funds was $572,858. November expenditures was $1,143,085. The biggest reason for the increase in the expenditures was the debt payment that was due December 1st. The debt fund had like over $330,000 for the debt payments. Outside of that, it was just our normal monthly activity going on for the month of November. And then the third document I presented is the revenue and expenditure report for the general fund for November 30th. We're at 92% of the year, and I'm showing that there's nothing unusual out in the funds. We're all within the target range of where we expected to be through the November end.
Comments? Call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
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 Harry.
Yes.
Report of December 31st, 2018. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, there was a stapled copy of the tax administrator's report through December 31st. This is our year-end final report for the year. And showing Pinecrest had received just over $50,000 in income tax that was collected. About $40,000 of that was from the tenants, and about 10 was from the contractors for the month of December. Our total collections for December for the Chagrin Highlands JED as well as Pinecrest and Orange Village was about $260,000, which is $27,000 higher than the same period last year. If you look at the bottom line of the gross taxes collected in the, that's the purple, the highlighted column, gross taxes collected, we're about $198,000 over where we were at the, through this period of time last year. I spent a good hour or so today, had a conference call with Rita. We've been working diligently over the last several months on our income tax collections, in particular with the Pinecrest revenues. There seems to be a problem. We're not getting all of the tenants reporting their income tax to Orange Village. They're being reported either to Beechwood or Shaker Heights, even Cleveland. And it was discovered that when they're going to the when they're going to the state of Ohio's website, there's a finder's tool for them to enter into the address, and it will tell them which community that they owe local taxes. And it's our understanding that when they're putting that address in, they're not always getting Orange Village. So we have about 39% of our taxes being collected in Pinecrest right now. 61% is being not collected by Orange at this time. So Rita has created a database. They have personally spoken with all of the businesses that have been paying taxes to other municipalities and are working to get those monies paid to Orange. It's just taking time. They had hoped to have the bulk of it done by year end, and that's just not the case. So we are setting this, they're anticipating that we should get most of this stuff resolved in the next 60 days. So I've set up a meeting that in 30 days, we're going to sit down and come up with a plan that if this does not happen within the 60 days, that we are going to take it the next step. They are also trying to work with the state to get the website updated. So far, they haven't been successful at doing that as well. There are about, I think there's like 5 businesses that haven't opened at Pinecrest, and we have also been in touch with those businesses to try to get them to know that they have to pay local taxes to Orange prior to them opening, to try and curb it from them going to the outside website and finding the wrong information. So unfortunately, we would have had better numbers at the end of the year than we have. We might have been closer to our target revenue source, but we will get that money. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get that.
Are you able to quantify how much we're talking about?
We have no idea because they aren't filing those returns until we can figure it out and get that information. They have not gotten that information to me. We just know it's been zero.
When you say 39% and 61%, you're talking about on numbers, not money.
No, on Pinecrest, we've only collected 39% of the businesses that are open to Pinecrest are paying.
61% of them owe us something, but we don't know what yet.
They might have paid Beechwood.
They may have.
Are some of those not paid at all?
They have to fix their records and get the records changed over and then start.
Dana, are some of those not paid at all, or are they just mispaid to
These are ones
other?
that we have, the 61% are businesses that we have collected $0 from since they've opened.
And know that they owe it to us yet.
Well, they know that they owe it to us now because Rita's talked to them, but they haven't. A lot of them are, they're generally out of the state.
Some of those cities are going to have different tax rates, though, aren't they?
That's.
I mean, isn't Beechwood exorbitant, isn't that correct?
These are communities that haven't paid anything to the villages. They've been paying them to different communities. So we know which businesses they are. As I said, Rita has talked to all of the businesses that have remitted nothing. We know that they're open. We know that they're there operating a business, but we have received $0.
Based upon your experience, what's the process like once this is quantified to get from these other communities?
Well, a lot of them, as I said, are out of the state.
Okay.
Out of the area. They're using third-party payroll services, so working with the businesses plus the third-party payroll services, that's what's taking the extra time. And we have to get them to comply and do that work. So it's just time-consuming, and
I assume it's a lot easier if it's another Rita community,
Oh, yeah, they just move it around.
debit the next month or something?
well, I think they're working. There's a whole host of.
Ask, I see that our tax collections were not up to the budget. Explanation?
She just,
Whole thing, you
This
think?
is primarily the reason.
Cover it?
I don't know if we'll get exactly to that. Well, we're going to be collecting it in 19 to begin with, but I think the projection was maybe a little high. Pinecrest didn't open on time. Not all of the businesses were open as, in May as projected, so we might have been a little bit higher on our projection.
Want to adjust it with the Cleveland taxing authority also? I mean, some of these people may have paid through something other than Rita.
That is correct. They're working on all of that to get it all to us and fixed. I think their goal was hopefully to get it done by the year end so that W-2s and all that other stuff.
Which year?
that was gonna be issued is incorrect, but
Same thing apply to the JED with,
no,
the,
that's fine, so.
the JED is fine.
it's fine?
Yeah, it's
So
just the Pinecrest.
Business, Cooper's Hawk that opened, they're paying, that's fine? Okay.
That's, all right, if you call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Yes.
Braverman.
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Moving on to the presentation by Matt Jasinski from MAS Financial Advisory Services LLC to discuss the results from the financial proposals.
Good evening, council members.
Yeah,
I need the microphone.
Did everyone get one of these?
On December, does everyone have a handout?
Yeah.
It's titled Summary Comparison of RFP Responses. On December 12th, 2018, Village Council proceeded with passing an ordinance 2018-53, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $805,000 of bonds for the purpose of currently refunding the village's 2006 and 2007 bonds. With that approval of the ordinance, council instructed me, before we proceed with that refunding, there was a couple steps that they wanted me to proceed with. And those instructions were to allow council to revisit the metrics, the data analytics, if you will, of what that refunding might look like based upon an RFP process. So council instructed me to proceed with an RFP to financial institutions, which I conducted, and I promised council that I would come back this evening and give you the results of that RFP process. The handout that you have before you gives you the results of the financial institutions that were solicited. Some did not respond because of the size, being under $1 million of the refunding opportunity. I think there were just 2 that did not respond. Others I thought were very responsive, and in fact, if you look from left to right on the handout, I'm just going to point to some key metrics here that we discussed in general terms on the night of December 12th. This, again, is a fixed rate issuance. There's no variable nature to this. They are offering a fixed interest rate. The final maturity of the refunding matches up identically with the existing outstanding debt. We're not extending it. We're not shortening it. It matches up identically. The interest rate, the low interest rate that was proposed, as you can see on the left-hand side, and you read across, First National Bank proposed an interest rate of 2.61%. Keep in mind the Series 2006 and 2007 bonds were outstanding in rates 5% or greater. The acceptance deadline gives us till the end of the month to complete the refinancing, which should be no difficulty. We did talk about an optional redemption, callable or non-callable. The RFP went out with, in fact, a non-call provision, and First National Bank came back and said, we'll allow you to refinance it after 6 months if you choose to.
That's why they revised it?
That was, their metrics changed between the time they submitted their original proposal. They did submit a second proposal in a timely manner with the lower interest rate, suggesting that their cost of funds had changed. So we were happy to see that. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the handout, par amount of the issuance remains the same as what I suggested at the meeting on the 12th. $797,000 would be the par amount of the issue. The total interest expense, you can see, total P&I is tallied there. The key metrics are the bottom left-hand. Proposed cash flow savings, $74,802.17. If we went back to our Finance Committee meeting in November, when we initially had this conversation, we were speaking in terms of $30,000 to $35,000 worth of savings. So this is an outperformance well beyond what I had anticipated, even though we were hoping that we would get some, we'll call it cover by interest rates going lower, which in fact they have since November. The proposed net present value savings is $63,206, and the percentage net present value savings as a percentage of the refunding bonds moved up from 3%, just a shade over 3%, to now almost 8%. I'll remind you that the Government Finance Officers Association of the U.S. and Canada has a, we'll call it a relatively constant industry metric. If the refunding candidate is in excess of, or is in a category of 3 to 5%, it's a reasonable candidate to refinance. Now we're north, we are well north of 3 to 5%. It's my recommendation that the village accept the proposal from First National Bank.
Thank you. Very good.
This was
We have to take
presented
any-
to finance.
No, you don't have to vote.
We already voted, didn't we?
Last week, and, no, last month and this month. And the finance committee and council.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on this? If you would, no, there's no presentation, I'm sorry.
No action necessary.
Take, if council wants to express a sense of council.
No, finance already passed it. Does anybody have any concerns? All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much. Sorry I went so fast, but.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thanks for your hard work on this, Matt.
Very happy to help out.
Thank you.
And I have a motion to declare fire department equipment, and I'll incorporate the listing that's included in the email and the packet, surplus to be disposed of at the mayor's discretion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments on this?
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Cluter,
Yes.
Perry, Braverman, Duper.
Yes, also make a, I'll make the motion to declare police department equipment, included in the packet, and incorporating the email included in the packet as surplus to be disposed of at the mayor's discretion. Is there a second? Thank you, Mrs. Perry. Any comments on this?
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Cluter,
Yes.
Perry, yes, Stuber.
Motion to authorize the expenditure not to exceed $20,665.02 to train and controls for the upgrade to the system. Ms. Berry, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Comments?
This is part of the maintenance update of the aging facilities. I can let Bob come up and answer specific questions, but this has been on the list of things that needs updating.
Yeah, members of council, you got the executive summary in front of it. Just to try and keep it brief, our building obviously is aging. For about 2.5 years, we've been consulting a number of different companies, as well as MPE guys from a couple different architecture firm, and through COSI during ASHRAE Level 2 energy audit. So this is basically an upgrade to our system that controls our entire HVAC system for the municipal center. It's a web-based control. This, so to speak, is the brain of what runs all our heating and air conditioning control units. So this would be what would be considered like phase 1 of a planned replacement of upgrade. There's a lot of things changing in the HVAC world as far as Freon and stuff like that that's will no longer be available. So this is actually at the low cost. We've had one company with planned replacements in the range of $150,000 to $650,000. So we are choosing to do it in phases, and this would be start 1.
Been working with Trane, or is this a new?
All the equipment in this building is Trane equipment. That's one of the things that raises prices on other items. If they come in with a different control unit, you need to start updating all the other controllers to talk to the other equipment. And I want to say that most of our Trane equipment here has been running very good over the years. It's exceeded lifespan on a number of items.
Question for you, Bob. Is this control system operate through the cloud so you can manage it from anywhere, or is this?
It's correct. It's a web-based system, so we can actually, your smartphone gives us the opportunity that we can troubleshoot. If somebody's here on the weekend, we can set the alarms, bells and whistles to go on, so it's much more manageable for my guys, even at home, to take a look at it and troubleshoot it in case there's issues. So that's certainly is being important because of the fire and the police that might be here on a 24/7 basis.
Is there any security concern with that relative to its ability to be hacked?
We're protected, probably no different than what we have for the LED sign. We can put control measures in there.
Okay, thanks.
Your comments? All right, if you could call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Flitter.
Yes.
Perry. Braverman.
Yes.
Yes. To audience comments relating to agenda items only. Right, moving on to old business pending legislation motions, ordinance 2018-45, an ordinance agreeing to adjust the boundaries between Orange Village and the city of Beechwood pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 709.37, and zoning the new territory. This is on for third reading tonight. Sure, Mayor.
I'd just like to, again, summarize that we want nothing more than the Moonies to succeed and thrive. We have some needs that we will continue. You have my commitment and the commitment of the administration and building commission to continue working on the path that we've been working on to try to get an acceptable plan. But at this time, the administration recommends that Orange Village Council go ahead and pass this ordinance.
Moved.
You're making a motion to pass?
I am.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's a joy to see so many faces. Usually, we don't have anybody here, so this is wonderful. It takes a passionate issue, usually, to bring people out, so thank you. Thank you, Mayor Horowitz, for coming. You're taking a busman's holiday. I appreciate you coming, and thank you for your comments. I've struggled with this. First of all, I wasn't quite sure where this even came from when it appeared in my package. Usually I get a heads up if we're going to be looking at legislation, and I didn't. And I thought that was a bit surprising, considering that it's a big issue. I've really struggled with this, and I've heard all sorts of comments. I've heard that maybe they want to take the Mooney property because they want a new entrance into Pinecrest, and maybe they're going to get tied into ODOT that way. I don't know what I've heard. That they were going to actually close them down, and I would never support that. Not a business that's been in this community 50 years. Mr. Byron, you said something, and please clarify this for me. Towing is not a permitted use. Am I hearing this in Orange? That a towing business is not permitted in the U4A district. Am I hearing that correctly?
Zoning code, there is a distinction between an accessory use and a permitted use.
Okay.
If you look at the permitted uses in the U4A district, towing is not a listed permitted use.
Okay.
It is an accessory use to a service station. Going back to the days when you'd have people tow the car in to get it repaired, and it's a customary accessory use for a service station, a filling station, and so it is not prohibited, but as a standalone business or as a principal business, it's not got the status of a permitted use the way, in the U1 district, a single-family residence is a permitted use. You can build a house.
Okay. So, ipso facto, if it isn't exactly a permitted use, and this is where they are right now, and this legislation is voted on tonight, yes, will they be allowed to tow?
They are currently could be in violation in Orange Village. On the Orange Village side of the law.
Okay.
And according to the law director of Beechwood, they are currently in violation in the city of Beechwood.
Okay.
If they are operating a towing company as a principal use.
It would seem to me that most of their business, from what I'm hearing, has been through towing. Therefore, if we vote yes on this, and this becomes a piece of Orange legislation or part of the zoning, they won't be allowed to tow.
Look, they are currently violating your ordinance if they are towing in Orange Village, and that is a principal use.
Okay.
There is an opportunity, and I think I said this clearly.
Special use permit, I got it.
Use permit.
And how did they get that?
And that would be a separate application. It would need to be applied to the entire property because we couldn't grant them permission to tow or use their property for a tow yard in Beechwood. We cannot provide them the remedy that they would need to be lawful in the city of Beechwood.
So they would be stuck right now.
This would be the opportunity, the first step.
But it would take time. They couldn't do it right now.
Well,
They'd have to stop towing.
Nobody's doing it.
Remember, the ordinance doesn't take effect today. The ordinance would only take effect if the city of Beechwood passed their piece of legislation.
Oh, no, I know that. I know if we say yes and they say no.
Nothing you do tonight is going to have an immediate impact, and it would indicate to both the Orange Village administration and the city of Beechwood that there is an interest in addressing the issue that has been going on for a while. The other thing that I don't want to lose sight of is there are other property owners that are impacted by this that currently have to come to Orange Village for some things when their property and business enterprise is predominantly in the other community. And I think it's important that this council not lose sight of the fact that you are rationalizing, you are making more rational the boundaries between the communities in terms of how businesses interface with their local zoning authority. And that is the predominant reason that the administration is recommending the approval of the ordinance.
Francis, we could work on the special conditional thing, the same thing we did with LJI. We could be working on that concurrently while they're following up with Beechwood and Orange building commissioners and doing what they're supposed to be doing. If they show the good faith on that, we could continue to be moving forward towards a codified.
Well, what I want to obviate, assuming that the Moonies are in compliance with whatever we decide they've got to be in compliance with, and then we decide that, no, it's number A, no, now we're going to give you number B or C or D, and we'll be spinning. I don't want to see that happen at all.
We have never had an issue with LJI. This is exactly the same.
LJI is different. LJI is, it's smaller. I mean, it's much smaller.
It's not different at all.
You can't, I don't think you can compare Moonies to LGI. They've got more volume of business, overtly.
Well, we want to treat them the same because we want to give them permission to do what it is they need to do that is not intrusive into the community for the problems that the community has with it.
I don't want to see the business suddenly go into a hiatus and they don't have an income. So, you know, for whatever.
Get in that scenario, but okay.
So, Mayor, Ms. Cluter, do you mind if I just?
Yeah, of course.
Mayor, so would you support a special use exception for a towing business so long as certain conditions are met? If all the parties do that, if the property was all in Orange, would the administration support a special use exception knowing that it's a towing business, essentially? Is that something that the administration would support?
I offered this to them months ago. Yes, we would, but it would require fencing and screening and maintenance. Yes.
Okay, so with proper fencing, screening, and maintenance, then the administration would support a special use exception for a towing business. Okay.
Could I have the floor for a moment?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Were you done, Ms. Cluter?
No, it's fine. Let Mr. Braidman speak.
I'm speaking to council, of course, but I also want the few of you, well, the many of you actually who've stayed to listen to this, to listen to our decision, to understand where I'm coming from. And I go back to this fellow here. Where are you from?
Well, hey, let's...
Just your accent. I'm not going to speak to him.
Beechwood, I think.
It's a Beechwood
African.
accent. You didn't...
South African.
Accent?
South African.
I want to say, I'm going to tell a little, what I'm going to say, I've known the mayor for many, many years. He's been a councilman for years. I've been a councilman for years. He made the rash decision to become a mayor. That's his problem. In the meantime, I'm going to say this. I want you to first I'm going to talk about people, okay, because you guys are people. I liked your presentation. It was about people. I want to speak to you about a mother and a father, okay? The mother and the father, they both love their child dearly, okay? But they can't live together. The mother and the father can't live together. They both love their child dearly. Now, when someone has to make a decision about the child and they can't, where do they go? They go to court, okay? Well, the two cities don't want to go to court every time we have to make a decision about Mooney, a property that's in two places. So what we're trying to do here, very simply, we're trying to bring Mooney's into the circle. And by saying, the building is in our village, the 75% of the property is in the village, and therefore, the decision-making about Mooney's and everybody else who lives in our village should be done by our village, okay? Now, I have every confidence, and I'm telling this to all of you, I have every confidence that this council, this Planning and Zoning Commission, and this mayor will make the right decision for Mooney's every day. We don't need any help from you. So all we're trying to do, the only thing this ordinance is about, the only thing it's about, is to make it clear that instead of having to go back and forth every time an issue comes up, if one does, it won't have to go through both cities, and there won't have to be any tension between both cities. Now, the other thing is, when you look at the history of it, let me just say this real quickly. I say this with all deference to the Mooney family. I'm just going to try to make a point using this little metaphor that I've started. And that's this. If you've ever been the child of a broken marriage, you know that if you want candy, and your mother doesn't want you to have it, what do? You go to your he lets you have the candy. And then the mother is mad at the father for everything. You have the candy, and that goes on. You know, any child of a broken marriage wises up and, yeah, I know who to go to for what I want, and I don't care that this creates tension between them. I get what I want by going back and forth. Now, historically, what I've heard is there's a little bit of that in the history of this situation here, where things happened in Orange Village, and the solution was problem, then it would shift back. And so, you know, the person in the middle, whether it's the child in a broken marriage or a business in two cities, has figured out how to do this. It's just subconscious. It's not intentional. I'm not casting any aspersions. I'm actually saying this whole process would be simplified. If we had one business, we have it, in one village, and they deal with each other on the zoning code of that village, which happens to be Orange Village, because we have the vast majority of the Mooney property, and that's the way it should be. There's really no reason for Beechwood to be involved in our decisions, in our circle, going forward. We don't ask Beechwood to make decisions about any other Orange residents when we make decisions about them. That's what the governance of Orange Village is all about. We don't need Beechwood to come in and help us make those decisions. I have no confidence in their council compared to ours. But I'm just saying that to make a point. And that's why the purpose of this ordinance is not about, believe me, no one is going to push Mooney's out of the village. No one, you're not even going to feel the difference, except that one day you're going to go by Mooney's, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to make everybody in Orange Village and everybody who goes there happy. That's the whole thing. Well, you're not happy because we have this divided this thing. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't understand it, you don't understand it. The point is, I'm making a simple point.
This isn't a discussion.
Unify
A discussion.
control of a property that is basically in this village. There's no reason why that shouldn't be the case. I'm not, you don't speak at this point in time. I'm telling you about what I listened to all of you, and you all made good points. I have no problem with the things you said. Now listen to what I'm saying. This village wants to be the decision maker for properties that are not exclusively, largely in our village, and where we can't do that, we can't even communicate with them because we use two different courts. They can't even take us to their court. We can't take them to our court. It's just a happenstance. We have to straighten that out. It's a piece of confusion that makes no sense. The fact that you're in the middle is almost incidental to this ordinance. This ordinance is just to clarify that this piece of property, whoever is on it now or in the future at any time, is going to be under the jurisdiction of Orange Village because that's where it sits. And if we can't make decisions among ourselves, which we always. Are you being serious or not? Oh, okay. We would have to go to our court and not theirs. That's the whole difference. It's a matter of making the piece of property sit in one place so it knows what it's supposed to do. I would think that makes sense from the Mooney's point of view. If I want to do something on my property, I don't want to have to go talk to two planning and zoning and two different mayors and two different sets of zoning codes. I don't want that. To me, you're coming into the circle that we're intending to draw makes absolutely perfect sense. And I have the confidence that you're going to get the right result. That's why I am voting for this ordinance. You don't have the floor, ma'am. You don't have the floor. I'm not trying to be difficult with you, but we do have a protocol in the.
Mayor, 2 minutes is up.
You have 2 minutes?
You can have 2 minutes as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. I first want to point out, I really am glad to see so many people here. It represents that there's something deep and passionate that you all feel about this situation, and we feel it too. We understand and hear your concerns. Your concerns are our concerns too. This is our community. It's not our business, it's your business. And we want to make that the best business that we can. You pay taxes to our community. You're a good citizen in our community. You do things in our community. We want to ensure that those things can continue. And not only that, but you're a gateway business to our community. You're not a gateway business to Beechwood. You're kind of on the back end of Beechwood. You're on the front end of Orange. You're the entrance to Orange. So don't you and we want you to be the best that you can be and not just be. And so we're here today, and this legislation, it comes about to enable that to happen in a very positive way, to bring us all together to talk about the particular issues that affect your business and affect our community, and that we can work together towards an outcome that will result in something that we all want to see, that's beneficial to all concerned, not to any individual. We're not going to take your business. We can't do that. We don't own your property. It sits in a jurisdiction. And we are one jurisdiction, and Beechwood is the other. And the way the property sits currently, and the way you kind of use it currently, most of your towing operation is taking place in Beechwood. And it's been made abundantly clear this evening that Beechwood does not allow that kind of a business in their community. With work together, and through the process that you've already begun in developing your perimeter and developing the enclosure and improving the quality of the site, we can all work together towards development of a planned development for the entire property that includes a special use permit that could enable you to be the business that you are and continue to be for generations yet to come, into the 5th and 6th generation beyond. We are not here to talk about character. It has nothing to do with that. We believe you're of good character. We know that. We're not here to look at what business is, or we want to look at what the business, how the business operates and what we can do to make it operate, enable it to operate its best in our community. And by being all together in our community, it's much easier for that to occur. The way it currently exists, I don't want to borrow Mr. Braverman's analogy, but it is a little awkward. And the best parents, and I see that there are parents out there, the best parents are the ones who are together and raise their kids together and work hard towards making sure that they're good citizens and they grow up well. So we want everybody in the village to grow up well. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes.
Much like the Mooney family, I too am a small business owner, and as a small business owner, I do believe we are the lifeblood of our country. I think it's wonderful how dedicated and devoted all of your family and your patrons are, and I only hope if I was in the same situation, mine would step up for me as well. Like you, I face legislative uncertainty with my job, and to echo what Mr. Byron and what everybody else is saying here, this removes a layer of that uncertainty, and I think it's going to only benefit your business if this ordinance is passed. And although you may not necessarily see it that way, I think this would be doing you a favor, so you only have to negotiate and deal with the laws and ordinances of one community instead of two. So that's why I'm going to support this ordinance.
Any other comments?
Just a couple of, go ahead, because you haven't spoken, go ahead.
I just want to agree with what I've heard fellow council members say. And thank you all for coming here and sharing your comments. They were very important for us to hear, so thank you. And we appreciate them. During those comments, I did hear a lot of people saying that they thought that Orange Village was trying to hurt the Mooney business, and you've heard council people, and I want to echo this, how important it is. We want you to succeed. We want to help you succeed. We are charged with supporting the laws of the state of Ohio and Orange Village. We are a council who has been talking about accessory use or special use once we acquire the property through all the different channels that have to happen before then. And I support the accessory use, but with conditions that the gateway to Orange and a better business.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Just a small,
revenue. I mean, if we vote yes, if this comes into Orange, Orange will keep the tax revenue. How much would Beechwood lose?
We get all their income taxes, Beechwood gets nothing. Right now, they get about $54 from the piece of real estate, the vacant piece of real estate in Beechwood, but the land will be changing, giving them oh, thanks. That's the tax money we've been paying you. I don't know what that is. We calculated it a few years ago when we first started talking about this, and I think it was in the $100 range. It was small peanuts. What we have in the legislation is protection for Beechwood should some growth occur that brings the revenues in excess of what it is now, that will be shared with Beechwood in the future.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa. But Beechwood's not going, what are you going to lose? $54, I think. But they'll pick up the real estate taxes on the other properties.
The other thing is, with the legislation, it talks about Exhibit A and Exhibit B, which was appended. I never got those exhibits. So where are they? Because we're voting on something without exhibits. That doesn't make any sense. I did ask for them this week, actually.
There is...
What were they?
Here's Exhibit A.
For the ordinance.
We've seen it.
I never got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
Just the site.
Okay, thanks. Okay. I never got that. Okay, well, cool. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say. No, that's all. Thank you.
If you'd call roll, please.
Klein?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Cluter? No. Perry? Yes. Braverman?
Yes.
Duber?
I'll abstain.
Running for...
Moving on to,
Apparently.
again, thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate your comments, and, you know,
Yes.
I know. And you know, you heard from the mayor that, you know, she would support, you know, again, obviously Beechwood has to do their part in this, but that the mayor would support the special use exception. And, you know, I would be happy to see you guys come to us with that. Okay? And again, Mr. Mooney, we've talked a lot. We've been honest with each other, and, you know, don't go like that. But, you know, I look forward to continuing to work with you, okay? Moving on to ordinance 2018-50, and ordinance amending section 1142.06 of the Codified Ordinances of Orange Village to provide a procedure for council to exercise administrative authority under Orange Village zoning code. This is on for second reading. Okay.
Is there any reason to accelerate this?
What?
Is there any reason
Plus
to...
10.
No?
No.
Actually, I was going to recommend that you actually have a work session to walk through the process.
Yeah, it hasn't been into planning and zoning yet.
So you're comfortable, right?
This needs to go to P and Z?
Yes.
This needs to go to P and Z?
It was referred to P and Z.
It was.
Heard it.
Okay, so we haven't seen it yet. That's all right.
Moving on to new business, consideration of ordinance 2019-1, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Orange Village, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading. Steve, if you would.
This is the
please.
annual legislation that accomplishes two things. It codifies the work that you did last year in the zoning code and other codes where you have changed your local codes. It also incorporates state law changes so that if someone a citation for one of these items that are listed here, the village would obtain the revenues if they write it under the village code. So this is actually to the village's benefit to get this into place as soon as possible.
Any comments? Moving on to ordinance 2019-2, an ordinance providing a fee for connecting directly or indirectly with a water main located in the Hidden Valley Drive right-of-way.
Nobody wanted to suspend so we can get our ordinances codified sooner than later?
Well, we
Make a
can't-
motion to suspend?
All right, is there a second? All right, if you call roll on suspension, please.
Bilski.
Yes.
Cluter.
Yes.
Perry. Braverman.
Yes.
Duber.
Yes, is there, I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-1. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Any other comments? If you call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Cluter.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Braverman.
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Now
Drink some of that.
2019-2, an ordinance providing a fee for connecting directly or indirectly with water main located in the Hidden Valley Drive right-of-way, providing a penalty for violating this ordinance and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading. Steve, do you want to comment on this, please?
When we install a water line, the village is entitled to recoup the capital cost.
Oh, yeah.
A significant portion of it, and you have the calculation there. There, as I understand it, there is nobody requesting permission to tap in at this time.
one person, and because of her requesting it, we discovered we didn't have all this in place. She may not still be interested, but we should put this in place.
And what it does is it just levies the tap-in fee in a very non-transparent manner. You have to read a lot of stuff to get to that. You just did.
I know, I read it over, and this $11,000,
That's their share.
double in interest?
Yes.
So
Max.
it can go up to 22 and then lock?
Right.
That's the way I read it, I wasn't sure.
That's how we've done
That's correct.
I know, I thought so, but I wanted to make sure.
The method of calculating the tap-in fee is the same method that we have applied to each water line.
Okay.
So that everybody's being treated, although the actual dollars may differ a little bit.
Is this something that you would want to move forward on quickly?
No urgency, you could wait a month.
Moving on to ordinance 2019-3, an ordinance amending various sections of Chapter 111 of the Codified Ordinances of Orange Village to change the start time of regular council meetings and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading. I will make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any comments on suspension? You call roll, please.
I don't want, I know, it's not about the suspension.
Okay, then-
On 19-2, the minute should say that it's first reading. It doesn't say that, and I know you wanted to.
No, she made a correction. We already discussed it.
I'm sorry. Mistake.
Sorry, I just.
Okay. Would you call roll,
Okay.
please?
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Cluter. Perry.
Yes.
Braverman.
Yes.
Duper.
Yes. And is there a motion to pass ordinance 2019-3, Scott?
Yes.
Thanks, I'll second it. And if you'd call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Cluter. Perry. Braverman.
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Again, Anna, can you make sure that you send out emails, several of them? And we have to make sure we let Mr. Barron know as well.
And the other thing that I would recommend is passing a rule. Your work session exists by rule. It is not classified as a regular meeting, because remember, if it's a regular meeting, you have to get excused from it. And that...
You're still at 8 o'clock.
Work sessions, but you can, by motion, adopt a rule to say you're going to start your work sessions at 7:30 if you want to do that.
Make a motion to adopt this rule that work sessions are going to be at 7:30. Is there a second?
Second.
Comments? If you call roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes.
Cluter. Yes. Perry.
Yes.
Braverman. Duber.
Yes.
Point of clarification, so will finance go at 7 then, on those?
Only one community member was able to come.
Okay.
He is in favor of starting earlier, so I need to contact the other members, but I believe it will not be an issue.
Well, there's just the one other.
Cochran and Silver?
Sorry.
Dave.
Right.
It is you're okay with it, right? Sorry.
Right, any other questions? All right, thanks.
When you said, Brandon, when you said get notices out, I will also be asking manager start publicizing it community-wide, not that they all come to the meetings, but our calendars are wrong, so we need to spend a lot of time correcting.
Letters in the newsletter, big.
On the
And
sign.
newsletter, too.
No, but,
Here, the Goodyear blimp's available.
I know, but what about the calendar?
I've got my calendar already.
It's okay.
It's going to be in the recycling bin on Monday, so.
Busy, you know.
Everything's online now, which is nice. So, moving on to Resolution 2019-1, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Cuyahoga Soil and Conservation District and the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District.
This doesn't say first reading now, but we'd like to add.
Yeah, it's an ordinance, you don't, it's a resolution, you don't need
Resolution.
to.
Yeah, you don't.
Good, good.
Resolution.
Yes, do you want to go into any more? Bob, you want to? Sure.
Sure, it's another resolution.
This MOU is part of our stormwater management plan. What happens with the fee that's collected through the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, Cuyahoga Soil and Water does part of what's known as MCM, minimum control measures for the stormwater. This is actually a fee that we will be charged of $5,500, but we get back from that fee credit through Northeast Ohio Regional. So this is a wash, and what this does is take care of some of our mandated control measures for stormwater.
I believe there's a portion of the village that is in the district. That portion has the fee covered by the community grant. There is a portion of the village that is not in the district, and I think it's like 2,500.
Two different things, though. That's the agreement with Cuyahoga County Board of Health. Cuyahoga County Board of Health has two regions, yes. One that's in the district under the Northeast Ohio Regional, and the other one is a fee, and the other one is not. So yes, you're correct. I think it's 2716 on one. So we've got a couple.
Wants to hear what this soil and water people do. They are having a 2019 public information training session on Wednesday, January 16th at 9:00 a.m. at Bedford City Hall. I hope you all go. You won't see me.
Where does the water go?
Would anybody like to make a motion to pass Resolution 2019?
I'll move.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any comments? You call roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Luder,
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Braverman.
Yes. Moving on to Resolution 2019-2, resolution authorizing the state of Ohio to apply preventative treatment to Chagrin Boulevard
What are they preventing?
from the west corporation limit to the east corporation limit, a distance of about .75 miles, and declaring an emergency. Do you have comments on this?
Cases I need to answer anything, I think.
In order for the state to do maintenance work on a road in the state route in a village, they need your consent.
Say anything.
They'll pay for it.
Cost.
We don't have to, it's a resolution. You make a motion to pass a resolution. All right, thank you, Ms. Perry.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Any other comments on that? If you go roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Luder. Yes. Perry. Yes. Braverman.
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Moving on to audience comments relating to matters which advance the good of the village. Anyone?
They've all gone.
Moving on to committee reports, comments by council members. Mrs. Perry? Okay. Mr. Braverman?
I have no committee report, thank you.
Mr. Bilski?
Nothing.
Fine.
I have no committee report this evening.
No committee report.
All right.
We'll talk to
Mayor, do you have comments?
I can remember what it is. We're going to start an ordinance next month that has to do with the Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District.
That's the one.
If you remember when Diane Bickett was here, she said that every 5 years they have to get a plan approved by the state.
Oh, yeah.
There's approval by a certain percentage of the councils throughout the county. We'll have I don't know if it's a resolution or an ordinance, but we'll have it on the agenda in February, and Anna will send you all a link or the information so that you can study the plan before we vote on it.
There's a thumb drive that's available that can probably be taken out and plugged into your computer, and you can review it at your leisure.
Is it?
Very nice. Very nice reading.
For the county, and they need a certain percentage. You don't have to take action until April, so the idea is start it next month, pass it in March, and you'll have plenty of time to study.
Do you have any other comments?
Want to know about?
Yeah, just the letter to the businesses regarding the bags.
That letter has been drafted. I don't, Anna, we were going to finish it today, but
The solicitor thing, because.
it's drafted, it's written. I think we were just deciding who to have them call if they had any questions. You know, whether.
Yeah, I would just say, let's try to get that out quick, because we don't want any issues, and we don't want to create hardships.
Goal is to have it out by next week.
Okay.
Definitely.
Technically, the ordinance becomes effective on the 11th. We're ahead of the curve in terms of taking action on the ordinance.
Yeah, I get that, I'm just trying to be a...
Happened in Columbus with
We will get it done. I'll let you know, or ask me again.
I don't have any other comments. Is there, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
We've been here since, how about 7? I've been here since 7.
Call roll, please.
Of course.
Special
Anna?
counsel?
Okay, okay.
Abstain.
You are not. Bill Skin?
Yes.
Okay. Cluter? Yes. Harry?
Tuchus has gotten them. Go home to bed with a drink of whiskey.
Braverman?
Braverman?
Yes, yes.
Braverman? Duver?
Up and out of here.
Brandon,
Oh.
you don't have to.
Are adjourned at what
Oh,
time?
yeah, there's something else going on in your chest. You need to see a pulmonary doctor.